Imagine David sitting at a corner table in a busy cafe. He's staring at a message he just typed. Something bold and honest he's been wanting to say for a long time. His finger is hovering right over the send button, but just as he's about to click, he stops. A sharp voice inside his head warns him that he's going to look foolish. It tells him to hit delete, stay quiet, and play it safe so he doesn't embarrass himself. In that moment, David physically reacts. His shoulders round forward, his breath catches in his throat, and he feels a sudden cold tightness spreading through his chest. This is a psychological experience almost everyone knows. It's often called the inner critic, an internal judging voice that weighs in on our every move. This voice drains the color out of the moment. It forces us to constantly censor our own actions, leaving us feeling stuck in a state of hesitation. David eventually closes his laptop and walks out, feeling a heavy sense of restriction. It feels like he's being told a truth about his limitations, but this voice is actually a byproduct of his past. Sigmund Freud, the psychologist in this portrait, studied this internal manager and referred to it as the superego. It functions like a rigid supervisor in our minds, constantly checking our behavior against a strict set of rules. To understand where this supervisor came from, we can look at how we grew up. As children, we were full of expansive, messy energy. But to stay safe and keep the love of the adults around us, we learned to tuck that energy away. We squeezed ourselves into a smaller shape that was easier for the world to handle. Over time, this habit became a permanent fixture in our minds, like an old software program that never stops running. Its original purpose was to protect us by making sure we stayed quiet and acceptable to others. This mechanism was once a vital tool for survival. It prioritized staying safe within the family and school system over the risk of being our wild, authentic selves. This is why the critic is most active during moments of growth. Whenever we try to be vulnerable or step out of our comfort zone, the old software sees it as a threat. It interprets a courageous act as a dangerous mistake. It's terrified that standing out will lead to the same pain or rejection we feared when we were small. This creates a confusing overlap. We often mistake this protective, fear-based voice for our actual conscience or a helpful sense of intuition. The result is a psychological cage. By following the critic's advice to stay safe, we end up cut off from the very things that make life feel real and vibrant. Back in the cafe, David is still stuck in that mental loop, staring at his screen while the voice in his head lists all the reasons why he shouldn't send that message. Usually, we try to fight back by arguing with the voice, but engaging with the critic, even just to tell it it's wrong, actually keeps our focus trapped in that mental chatter. A practical way to break the loop is to shift attention out of your head and down into the physical sensations of your body. This diagram shows that transition. The frantic lines of thought quiet down as we anchor our focus in the lower belly. When we stop feeding our thoughts with energy and instead focus on the solid feeling of being in our bodies, the critic's voice loses its power. It begins to fizzle out like a radio station losing its signal. As that noise fades, a different sensation takes its place. It's a feeling of being warm, present, and much more substantial in the moment. This kind of grounded physical presence is where true resilience comes from. We see it in the unshakable calm of leaders like Nelson Mandela. His strength didn't come from a lack of fear, but from a sense of self more solid than the voices of doubt around him. David experiences this shift as he sits at his laptop. He takes a long, grounded breath. His posture relaxes, his grip on the mouse softens, and his face settles into a look of quiet inner strength. The hesitation vanishes. He clicks send. Suddenly, the heavy silence in his head is replaced by the natural, lively sounds of the cafe. You no longer need the protective armor you wore as a child. You have your own strength now, and the courage to live exactly as you are.